Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels, including TikTok for the second day in a row. My goodness, we're off and running, people. Hope you're all having a great day wherever you are in this fine world of ours, including here in New York City, where it's a cold day, but it's a fun day because they've hired an offensive coordinator by the name of Nathaniel Hackett. And I hear you out there. You're saying, that name sounds familiar. Well, that's because he was the offensive coordinator in Green Bay for the first couple years of Matt LaFleur's tenure. And then he became a head coach out in Denver, flamed out spectacularly, so badly that he didn't even last a single season. But now he has been hired here in New York for the New York Football Jets to be their offensive coordinator. And it is an obvious. I mean, I don't think for a moment that the thought and the idea of maybe not luring Aaron Rodgers, but making it a somewhat more desirable spot to be traded to if the Packers and Rodgers come to that understanding that for whatever reason it's time to move on. Having Nathaniel Hackett on staff doesn't hurt. And the fact that they interviewed 14 other people and still went with Hackett would tell you that the interest is somewhat significant, because I can't imagine a world where Hackett, coming off of the season he just had in Denver, which was downright atrocious offensively, that's going to sway someone to go and give the job to this guy over all those other candidates, other than, well, Aaron Rodgers loves the guy. And that's no shot at Hackett. I know I've seen people kind of belittling the stuff he did in Jacksonville, which I think is a big mistake. I think that's some of his best work. The fact that they did get as far as they did with Bortles at quarterback is a big testament to Nathaniel. But he didn't call the plays in Green Bay. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers would go to New York to be with Nathaniel Hackett and have him, quote, call plays, you got to believe that would be, I mean, you think it's the Aaron Rodgers offense in Green Bay, it would be 1,000,000,000% the Aaron Rodgers offense in New York. So we'll see if any of this materializes into anything. That's the flip side of this. We could have a repeat of the Denver situation where it's pretty clear that he was hired with the underlying idea that it doesn't hurt that he, has the endorsement of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers really likes him. Didn't work out, obviously, but maybe this time it does. I'm pretty suspect. I'm pretty suspicious that this is going to amount to anything when it comes to the Aaron Rodgers situation. But you can't deny that it's going to be a talking point until a decision is made. So I thought, we'll talk about it today, and we'll lead with it. And maybe this is all that gets said. Maybe you guys don't even care, and that's entirely possible, and I completely get it. But their relationship is pretty damn strong. And a couple years ago, in kind of the opposite land where they were this year with such trouble in the red zone, a couple years ago they were lights out in the red zone, with Hackett being the one in charge of, for the most part, dialing up or calling, or designing and kind of game planning the plays and, the things they worked so well in the, quote, gold zone in Green Bay, probably looking to recapture some of that magic with Aaron Rodgers, if it were to happen, which, again, is no guarantee. Hello to everybody in the comments section. So good to see everybody. What's up, TikTok? How you doing? Can't wait until Rodgers goes to the Vikings after a year in New York. I mean, one step at a time, right? But the path is set. It'll line up just perfectly for when they get rid of Kirk Cousins. I like it. Jesse, thank you for the super chat. If Aaron is traded, do you think the Packers will look at trading for Trey Lance? Lance Watson reunion? NDSU grad here. Can you tell? I'd be very, very surprised if the Packers traded for Trey Lance. I think they would definitely go out, obviously, and find a backup quarterback, most likely a veteran, but I don't think they're trading for one. Given their cap situation, utilizing assets that way doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially for a guy who's coming off an injury. But stranger things have happened, and as Aaron himself said, never say never. But yeah, I'd be surprised. What else we got, folks? Do I think Big Dog comes back? I think that's pretty tied to Aaron Rodgers. I think if Rodgers is back, there's a good chance Big Dog is back. And I don't think it's some ultimatum like, I'm not coming back unless you bring back Big Dog. But I do think, maybe not a truly packaged deal, but I think the Packers will, maybe not undoubtedly, but most likely move on if they do make the turning of the page to Love. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think, Big Dog could help in an offense led by Jordan Love. I think he could. But at some point, you got to turn that page, much like at the quarterback position, on the very old veteran tight end who doesn't give you a whole lot in the passing game, somewhat tips it off to the defense when he's on the field. You kind of know what's coming in the sense of run pass. That doesn't mean that he can't get it done at a super high level still, because he most certainly can. You go watch that Vikings game, he put on a clinic as far as reach blocks and sealing things and getting downfield and punishing people. You love to see it, but I think that's pretty exclusively kind of run back if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. Oh my God, there have been so many Rodgers to the Jets videos today. Yeah, Percy, and then something else will develop down the line here in a couple days, and there'll be a ton of Rodgers to Dallas videos or something along those lines. That's how the internet works. Sean, thanks to the super chat. I feel like we are better suited to draft a wide receiver, tight end, and running back early to set us up for the present and future. We have invested on defense and O-line for so long, and both have been subpar considering the capital invested. So you trust their ability to bring in above subpar talent with those early picks on the offensive side of the ball? All I remember hearing, and I'm not saying you were saying this, Sean, but all I remember hearing for years is that, Goody can't find perimeter talent. Goody can't find skill players, blah, blah, blah. And then he got Watson and Dobbs in the same draft. It is, I'm not going to say a complete crapshoot, because that would truly dismiss a lot of the hard work done by the personnel people at 1265. But, I don't think it's so much that you've got to go on offense or defense. You want to get the best guys you can, regardless of the side of the ball they're on. If that happens to work out, so it's one, offense or defense, fine. But for me, it's much more about improving up front on both sides of the ball. I think there's zero doubt in my mind they've got to improve both along the offensive line and the defensive line. Maybe they plan on kind of improving from within on the offensive side because of the fact that they have drafted so many offensive linemen in the last 2 years, but they've got to get better up front. And especially on the defensive side of the ball, we spent all summer talking about they finally got Kenny some help. And that kind of looks like a mirage at the end of the year. I mean, Jerron Reed was pretty good. I don't think he had a lights out season by any stretch of the imagination. He certainly wasn't, someone who could help Kenny really get freed up. Dean Lowry regressed from his, career year last year. TJ Slayton just didn't play quite as much as I had hoped he would. I thought he got better as the season went on. Obviously, you need more from Devontae Wyatt. Hopefully he hits the ground running next year, and you do expect guys to take a jump from the rookie year to the second season. But, man, they got to control things up front. And if they can't do that, then everything else, the coverages, everything we're talking about with Barry not playing aggressive enough, all of that is, so much chum in the internet water. They've got to get better up front on both sides of the ball. There's zero question in my mind. What else we got here, folks? What else we got? Don Vito, thanks for the super chat. Ready for Jordan Love season. See, I love this super chat because that's simple, effective, to the point. Hashtag Jordan Love season. Let's go, baby. Let's ride. I'm with you. New York Cheesehead says we need a big upgrade at tight end. Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? It's just a question of where do you find it for a strap team when it comes to the salary cap, You almost have to go the draft route, because I doubt, the truly any kind of elite talent that hits free agency. And I don't even know how that sets up this year. But if it is someone, you got to expect there's going to be a bidding war for their services, and there's no way the Packers can get involved in that kind of thing. Not just, that's just not how they operate. Then throw in the fact that they are completely up against it when it comes to the cap, and you got to think they go draft. And would they 2 years in a row go against their regular profile when it comes to positional value? It's possible. I mean, you could have knocked me over with a feather last year when they took an off-ball linebacker in the first. So could they take a tight end at 15? I guess it's possible. And I know there have been a couple of names associated with that spot. The Notre Dame kid, most notably, but I'd still be very surprised. But we'll see. Sorry, guys. Is Alan Lazard gone? Not officially, but probably. Soder, thanks for the super chat. Brandy's carry the G chat. Hackett or no, run LaFleur's offense, carry the G. Thank you, Soder. That's greatly appreciated. Hackett or no, run LaFleur's offense. Here's what I keep coming back to when people talk about, oh, they need to run LaFleur's offense. We don't know what that looks like. We truly don't. Even 2020, when they were moving the ball up and down the field and they were scoring a ton of points and everyone wants to point to that, that was still very much a collaboration from a number of different people, including Aaron Rodgers, most significantly. So I don't even know when we talk about, Matt LaFleur's offense, I don't think we've ever gotten a pure idea of what that is, mostly by his choice, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, I'd like the quarterback to play in rhythm a little bit more. That is 100% where I'm at. Like, I don't care what offense you're running. Let's play in rhythm. Rise and fire, hit the top of your drop, let it rip. That's me. Luke, thanks for the super chat. Since it's the off season, I have two heavy questions. What's your favorite IPA? Thought on Samari Torre? Sorry, guys. I'm still getting over this damn cold. I don't really have a favorite IPA. The cold one in front of me, most likely. And then thoughts on Samari Torre. Intriguing. Certainly has upside. I thought he acquitted himself really well when given opportunities his rookie year. Hope he hits the weight room over the offseason. And who knows? Maybe he becomes a significant contributor on a team that is certainly going to need guys to step up and is going to need to, replace production. I wouldn't sit here and pencil him in as, oh, he's definitely going to be in the mix. But, like I said, it's a promising rookie season, and you never know. Nags never pays attention to TikTok. That is highly untrue. I pay too much attention to TikTok. Jeff, thanks for the super chat. 12 had a full year to develop a relationship with our youngsters. Questionable results. How would he do it on a new team this late in his career? I keep coming back to this, Jeff. That's why I made the joke on Twitter the other day. I don't know. He said he talked about, being in the right situation, he could still compete for an MVP. Is that in a new building where no one knows the hand signals? I don't know, man. I don't know. Evernight, thanks for the super chat. If Rodgers returns and we have a repeat of last season, do LaFleur and or Goody get shown the door? Doubtful. Highly doubtful. It all depends on who wanted Rodgers back. Because remember, it ain't all lockstep. What a total Packer move by keeping Joe Barry. Well, it's because you've got another coach who believes in his guy. It's just like Mike McCarthy back in the day believing in Dom Capers. And I'm here to tell you, Dom Capers helped win a Super Bowl, and I understood McCarthy staying by him. The fact that Ted wouldn't go out and get more veteran talent for a guy who was running a system that clearly needed it probably was a bit frustrating for Mike. And, you look at Ladarius Gunter in that NFC Championship game, and I understand injuries happen. It's the only reason he's in that position. I get it. But that crystallizes why it was so frustrating for Mike and Dom, most likely, because they knew some of those guys, some of those youngsters weren't ready for prime time. And they had to kind of simplify things and keep things a little bit lighter in the playbook because of the fact that they were handed undrafted free agents and practice squad guys rather than trades or free agent pickups, So I understood it with Mike. Totally get it. And I know it was frustrating for Packers fans to see Dom back every year after these heartbreaking playoff losses, but I always understood that. The Barry thing is, I'm not going to say unfortunate. I understand that as well because it's simply Matt LaFleur wanting some continuity and sticking with his guy and having faith in his guy. The problem is he had faith with Mo Drayton and Amari Rodgers as well, and we all know how those turned out. So, here's hoping. His idea is clearly we're going to keep continuity on the staff. We're going to improve as a staff from within, as a group. That's his thinking. You can disagree with it, and I know most Packers fans do, but that's his team, and that's his call. We'll see how it turns out. Next, we TikToking. We TikToking. I don't even know what that means. What else we got? I got all sorts of super chats. John, thanks. Could we see Nixon get snaps on offense on occasion? I know they joked about that. I got maybe not joked, but they talked about it last offseason. We'll see. Let's see if he gets signed back, first of all. Don't ever forget, Desmond Howard helped the Packers win a Super Bowl and then was promptly a free agent and left. Oh, don't remind me. Chris East, thanks to the super sticker. Sir Alex, thanks to the super chat. Thoughts on the Packers going after Waller again? He's 30 and has had injury issues the last couple of seasons. Seems like a good setup to overpay and receive subpar results. That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion, but I will say Brian has shown a tendency to repeatedly go after guys that he really wants. Now, he's not always successful in landing them, but he certainly keeps up the pursuit. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they kind of struck up those conversations again. As you guys know, I wrote last, I think it was April, early April, that they were in talks with the Raiders trying to pry him away. They tried to get him included in the Devontae deal, and then they tried to trade for him straight up. And then Schefter reported at the trade deadline this past kind of couple months ago, they tried again. So it's clear Brian has a bit of a bee in his bonnet for the player. And again, I'm not going to put it past the realm of possibility that he makes another run. But for all the things you're talking about here, it makes me a little bit suspect, right? Like if that is still going to be a course because of the fact that even after coming off a injury plague season, going to come in, going to light it up with Devontae Adams in the mix and blah, blah, blah. And then he promptly got hurt again. So, yeah, I think he's still a dynamic player and he has the ability to really produce at a high level on offense if he can stay healthy. Obviously, the key is, can he stay healthy? Recent signs are not positive. Vex, thanks for the super chat. Do the Packers need to stop the run better? Yes. One of the main reasons I keep talking about needing to improve up front on defense. They have got to control all the gaps up front, especially if they're going to continue to insist on playing with a two-man front, with a two-man line. They play so much nickel. They play so much two-man line. Those two had better be able to control shit, or you're going to get run all over, much like you did against the Philadelphia Eagles. Joe, thanks for the super chat. If Love starts, would signing a veteran QB send the wrong message in terms of their level of confidence in Love? Rookie Matt Flynn was Rodgers' backup. Not necessarily. I understand what you're saying, but, man, it's the NFL. You got pressure in every snap, let alone from game to game or, heading into training camp or what have you. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, they have Matt Flynn as a backup. They drafted a dude in the second round in Brian Brom that season that Aaron Rodgers took over as starter. You've always got pressure. You've always got competition. There's no if some vet were to come in and ride the pine, so to speak, I don't think that puts any more pressure on Jordan Love than is already there. These guys are professional athletes. Emphasis on professional. That if you can't handle that, you shouldn't be in the business. Jeezy Baby, thanks for the super chat. If we trade Rodgers to the Jets, will they have a similar poison pill they had in the Favre trade with all the Minnesota stuff? No, I'd be shocked. Poison pills in general have been eliminated and or outlawed, but yeah, no, they wouldn't do that. What else we got? Matt LaFleur's offense loves tight ends. We don't know. Have I heard anything on Lazard, or do you think that ship sailed? I haven't heard anything officially, but I'd be shocked if he's back. He can really, I think, probably get a contract north of $10 million a year. Packers aren't paying that. There are probably a few teams out there that will. Would Jordan Love sit another year, or will they trade him? That's a good question, TikTok. He would undoubtedly. I do not doubt it for a moment. If Aaron Rodgers were to come back and the Packers say he is our starting quarterback, I don't doubt it for a second that he would demand a trade. The Packers don't have to acquiesce to that demand. They do have him under contract for one more year and can pick up his fifth-year option, which is a real, I don't want to say weapon because you don't want to be at war with your hopefully future starting quarterback, but It's a great piece of leverage. So, Jordan Love's camp can kick and scream and make all sorts of noise, and maybe he holds out or whatever. But, the Packers have zero um, reason to make that. If they intend on making him the starter after Rodgers leaves, they have zero reason to make that move. Now, if someone comes with some ridiculous package off of the 9 or so throws he made in Philly, thinking, oh, there, he's finally developed him, he's ready to start, let's make a move, and someone comes with some absurd, trade offer, yeah, I think they'd listen. They would definitely at least pick up the phone and, take a listen to what people had to say. But ultimately, I suspect, yeah, he will. If Rodgers comes back, he'll demand a trade, and the Packers will say, "Sorry, buddy, that's life in the NFL." Abdul, thanks for the super chat. What did you think of Wyatt? You had said you weren't sure about him in a prior chat. Did you see anything that makes you hesitant to think will improve? Maybe. No, I just wanted to see more from him. Wanted to see more of him. I think he played okay at first, and I think he improved. I wish he would have been on the field more earlier in the season to get that improvement kind of kick-started prior to the last month of the season. I think he could have really helped them down the stretch if he had gotten the experience that he was getting at the end of the year, at the start of the year. But you definitely saw the flashes. I think his best game is probably down in Miami. You certainly saw the potential there, all the athleticism that clearly got the Packers excited when they drafted him. You definitely need more consistency out of him, though. And that is probably the great kind of, that's not unusual for any young player, because there are plays where he looks really exciting and powerful, and then there are plays where he gets completely washed out. Now, some of that is level of competition. You go back and you watch the Eagles game, that's a tough watch. He looks like a rookie with a capital R in that game. But the more he played, the better he got. And again, I just wish that kind of start had happened early in the season. Vex, thanks for the super chat. For everyone who wants 12 back, this team scored only 10 points. BS 49ers versus 49ers with Devontae. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. They couldn't block anything up front. That's why I keep saying, if Rodgers is back, you have got to fix the offensive line or at least improve it. Rodgers can still be incredibly effective if he's given time, if he's given protection. Obviously that's true of most quarterbacks, but Rodgers' ability coupled with his knowledge of the game, if you give him time, he'll pick you apart. But in that game, you had Joey Bosa running over people. Obviously David Bakhtiari didn't play. There are a lot of levels to this. It's never as simple as, we had Devontae and he still didn't do it. Got to play better up front. It's been a theme the last 3, final games of the season, these last 3 years. The offensive line has gotten run over and has not been able to hold up to their end of the bargain. I don't care who the quarterback is. Got to get better along the offensive line. The Giants will sign Lowry, right? Maybe, Brandy. Wouldn't surprise me. This is such an alien view here, YouTube viewer. Well, I can only run the program through so many channels. So TikTok's on the phone. Everything else is on the camera. What else we got, folks? What else we got? I'm just sick of this Rodgers watch. Tony, it hasn't even started. Like, we're barely into it. Sit back, my brother. It's going to be a fun offseason. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. And then tell your friends and tell your family, Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack, go.